morning, YouTube. Today is Sunday the 24th, and I have officially been home for a week today. So surgery was 7 days ago. This time, 8 days ago, I was actually still in surgery. And so today I've decided that I have recuperated enough that it's about time that I actually reveal what my body looks like. I was able to actually tape over the parts YouTube doesn't like because God forbid you show a nipple. And then that way people who are, who really care about me, close friends of mine, family, my daughter, that are really like, what does it look like? How is it? Are you going to be okay? Can I see it? Feels really awkward to ask, but I really am curious and I really want to see it. It's awkward for both of us, right? So I sort of want to know if you want to, like, I want you to know that I'm comfortable, but I also don't really want to, pull out my boobs in the office, right? Or in public place where I see my friends and family. So that's really the first thing that I'm going to do today is to show you what I look like after a week, minus my nipples because YouTube. If you work with me and you won't be able to look me in the face after you've seen my body in this state, please, now would be a great time to just go ahead and tune out. This is not the video for you. If on the other hand, you're curious, you want to know what it looks like, what are your scars, how bad does it hurt, what do they do to you in surgery, that's what this video will be. And then after this first video, I will do a second video that specifically addresses the drains that are in my body, how to take care of them, and that kind of thing. And that's not really even intended for friends and family. It's intended for people like me who are going to go into surgery. I found that there weren't people out there actually talking about it like it was regular business. There were people that showed their drains, but it was painful and it was right after surgery and they were revealing the drains and I was scared to death about my drains and what that was going to mean. So I will do that video as well. That'll be a second post today intended for really other mastectomy patients. But also, if you're curious and you want to be educated, there you go. So welcome to 1 week after surgery. A little bit of education about what a skin-saving, nipple-sparing, bilateral mastectomy looks like with immediate reconstruction. Tissue expanders are put in here. Okay, YouTube, here we go. This is my body after reconstruction has begun. This is literally 8 days after surgery. I'm going to go ahead and take my robe off. I want to forewarn you that it's kind of graphic, and also that I have bandages on my nipples, but they're not required. I'm doing it for YouTube. My nipples look like nipples, and YouTube sees that as pornographic. So here we go. I'm a little tight, so it's kind of hard to get this robe off. But otherwise, this is bilateral mastectomy. It looks like I have boobs, but I actually don't. So I'll give you one side first. This is my right side. This side is where I had the actual possible cancer. Still don't know. Pathology's not back yet. So right here you can see they did a lumpectomy. I'm sorry, they did a lympho something or other. They took a lymph node out of here. And then under here you can see my drain, and it's going down to a pocket that I'll show you in just a second that I've put on my body to hold it. And then under here is where they have cut me, and this is actually surgical glue. So both of my breasts actually look different than each other. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like surgeon was right-handed, so it's different on each side, or if it's because different assisting surgeons were working. I don't know, and I'm not going to fuss about it. But they do look different. This breast actually sits more like a breast. It has an undercup to it. And then so the stitches are a little bit hidden if you look underneath there. And then the other breast is a little bit more lumpy. Either way, both breasts are a little bit lumpy. I don't know if you can see that there's like a bump right here. Beep, beep. That's actually the tissue expander in my breast. So that is breast number 1 with still have a scar under here and then scarring here. And then this drain, which I hope will come out on Tuesday. And then on this breast, which was considerably more bruised on surgery day, this is my left breast. It was no direct abnormality, but it did have some shadowing, and MRI has areas of concern. So since I was already in this place, I said, let's just do this once. So right here, you can see this one's actually super lumpy right there. I don't know if you can see that. It's like, ouch. It feels weird, and actually it doesn't hurt so much as it makes my stomach turn to feel it, because it doesn't feel like my body. It's obvious that there is something inside me that is not nature made. So it actually makes me emotional, and it feels really like queasy to touch it because it doesn't feel like body material. Under this breast, you can see they cut me straight. So a very straight cut. Again, this is just glue. It feels like plastic if I touch it. It does not hurt. I am numb. Quite a bit of me is numb. I'll cover that here in just a second. And then here are my tube coming down. Now what I have around my waist is a pouch that I made to hold my drain that is attached to that tube, because otherwise this would literally hang down at my side and pull on my body where that tube is stitched into my body. And I'll show you what that looks like now. So there's an actual stitch that is protected by some waterproof tape. And it's a little tender there where it exits my body. It's the same on both sides, except that this tube, for some reason, the surgeon who did this side thought that this little tiny tube would be enough. So this tube could actually hang right here by my hip, like quick draw. Again, don't want it to hang because that actually is really uncomfortable. So numbness and tenderness, I actually can still feel. This all feels like normal. My fingers can feel it, and so can my chest. Right here feels bruised and doesn't feel like body material. Underneath my chest wall can feel it, and my skin can feel it, but there is a creepy feeling in the middle. Right about here, I get numb. This is numb. I can feel this on my fingers, but my breasts cannot feel it. It's actually like scar tissue, a little bit tingly, a little bit nothing. This I can feel, my whole sternum I can feel, and then here I am numb, all numb. This is dead. I don't know if it will come back. I am also numb underneath. Right here it gets a little tingly, but this is bing, bing, bing. It feels like nothing. So that's what I look like after a week. I actually feel really happy that there's no bruising, or that the bruising has cleared its way. My nipples are under here. They are normal. They weren't cut on or messed with, except that on the right side, as I mentioned in my post-op video, pre-op, there's a portion in there where we kind of get through surgery day, and I talk a little bit about when they put the radiation in my nipple. So they put 4 shots into my nipple to inject some nuclear radiation in there so that they could find this lymph node. And so that has sort of made this nipple a little bit grayish black. I think that's where that's from. But otherwise, they're nipples. They look like nipples. They have an areola. They didn't get weird shaped, or they're just my nipples. Also, something I didn't mention about under my arm. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit so you can see. On the back there, you will see that there's a second hole. So reaching across my body is a little bit painful. And there is another one here, although it's very close to where the first one was. Those 2 places are actually where there were 2 tubes. So originally, I had 4 tubes in my body, and I went back 3 days after surgery, and they took 2 of them out because there wasn't much drainage happening with those. So that's kind of what you see, the extra cuts and weirdness back there. This back here, just for drainage, not involved in the surgery. This right here, surgery marks. This right here, you can thank YouTube for that. So there it is, the big reveal. I'm not sure if it was anticlimactic or what. I'm quite sure that mastectomy boobs are probably not the sexiest thing in the world. But I do feel like doing this video is important. Partly for me to own the process of, this is my body, these are my new add-ons, additions. This is, you know, what boobs will mean to me in the future. And then partly for all those people out there who are like, what does it look like? You know, how does it feel? This should be a routine conversation. People shouldn't have to feel awkward or weird. And so I really felt like doing this video was important, so that it would feel more normalized, and maybe so I could feel more normal. I don't feel, I am conflicted, I think probably like most mastectomy patients. I feel angry and upset and grossed out and, you know, confused about my new body, while at the same time I feel grateful and happy. I was able to keep my nipples. They did skin sparing. I came home and it sort of looks like I still have boobs, even though they feel weird and they're really lumpy. It still helps me to not have that initial devastation. I'm not in as much pain as I could have been. So my emotions are all over the charts on any given day. And certainly part of that is separating myself from other people. I am weird. I am different. I am, you know, a cyborg. I am less than, because look at these lumpy breasts. And there's something about saying this is just a thing. Like the scar I have on my knee from when I was a kid and I had to get stitches, or the scars I have on my head, or, you know, any number of things that happen to each and every one of us that makes us unique. These are life experiences. So that is part of what this video did for me today, was to own that and say this is me and this is okay. And I hope that there are other people out there who can see that. In addition, if you are a friend of mine, if you are a family member, now you've seen my boobs, or at least the new ones, and we can have a conversation. Start a conversation with me. It's absolutely fine. Not sure I'm going to be undressing in front of you anytime soon, but certainly we can at least begin to talk like people about a life experience that I'm having. Or maybe the one that you're having that you've been insecure to talk about. Kind of like how I feel insecure about this. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I forgot to say it. I have to say it every time, because they say that if you have a YouTube channel, you have to say it.